Okay, once again, good morning. I would love to hear from Shania. I would love to hear from Marvin. We have not heard from you. How are you? Your speaker is very, very low. We can't hear you. Marvin, can you extend in some? How are you? Okay. So I would love to get some feedback from us all. We have so far had more than 2 to 3 engagements. I would request us to, if we have the work we did in the previous lessons, just extend it to me. Just say you have it and we see how it is going to do act on. Anyone with the work done? And in case you're not in position to speak, it can be good if you extend in your text. Just use the chat and send in a message to us. I'll be receiving them. But as for now, I would want to know from us about our previous lessons. Shamad, do you have some work you did in our previous lesson?
No.
Marvin, do you have any work done? Shania, do you have any work done from our previous lessons? As per the communication, we are supposed to be having fine arts. Am I properly aligned? Yes, we are in, this is our art lesson. And before I extend in what we are going to discuss today, I wanted to first find out if there is any feedback from our previous lessons we had. Okay, because it is now 3 learning activities that we have been having, our live classes, but we are supposed to be having some assignments we do so that we can first discuss them before we go in for the lesson. Yeah, so Marvin, you are in the right place, and yeah, just feel free to extend in your voice. Okay, so Shani, I have not heard from you. Also extending. Shania, is there work done? Okay. Basically, last week we were looking through the different shading techniques. Sorry, we are looking through color as an element of art, but in detail we are basically going through the different types of colors, its origin, and what can be mixed, what cannot be mixed, what is good for us to use, and where does it come from, how can we use it, and more to it, what are the terminologies involved in arts and specifically color. So hopefully we all got that. But more to this, I'm trying to say that, allow me share screen. Yes, Shania, you have extended in that you had told me to do work about color. That's true. Is there no work you have about color? Because that was our previous lesson. Did you do anything about it?
in my art book, but then
Pardon? We have not heard your last statement. Okay. You're just oh, so you are saying that your work is in the art book. Okay, that's good. You have some work. How I wish you would have taken a picture and extend it in the group. Or the alternative can be is you start sharing video, then you open up your art book, then we look through it. Can you do that? Yes, Shania, can you do that? You open up your book and you also start sharing video, then we can look through the video I've shared. Because you are supposed to forward the work in the group, so that I should have it before the lesson. Now I prepare with the lesson. Wow. Uh, okay. Yes. I've seen your work. That is really nice work done. And just after the lesson, feel free to go outside in direct sunlight or on the balcony and take a nice picture and forward it in the group or upload it on the site, on the platform, so that I can give you marks and I also mark it. I also extended my input about it, but I saw it was a colorful tree, which is really good. And yes, well done. That is good. The fact that you have done that work, and right away let me share off. Just even before I start sharing, is there anyone who has some challenges with accessing content on the website? Yes. Do we have anyone here who has some challenges accessing the website? Okay, Shania, you say no, you don't have any challenge. That's good. And Marvin, okay, so uh, Shania, were you with us when we are discussing the shading techniques? Okay. Would also, yeah, you are saying yes. Would also, we would also allow you to send in your work about these shading techniques. Remember, we had said that it will be good when we forward them to us and we do an in-depth discussion. So when you do these assignments, please forward them to me and I will do the needful. I give you marks, I will give you more contribution on it, on how you can get better with them. I will do my best to make sure that we progress in terms of the way we are doing our work. So it is very important for us to have that in mind. And more to this, yeah, so I've seen your color work assignment, but more to it, we should also send in the shading techniques so that we should know that okay, you have achieved everything. And about graphics, have you were you? I think you're also part with us when we are discussing graphics. Yeah, we are basically discussing graphic, and we were emphasizing calligraphy as a way of creating beautiful works in terms of letters. So it is very important. This course is very, very important for us to get into in depth. But since you are not there, we shall spare more time. And since you have access to the content on the website, just be sparing time and go through it. It will be really of value, and we shall get to see how better we can do it. We have so far done a lot of assignments. I just want to go through here. We have another person who has joined in. Kusi, can you say hi to us?
Hello everyone, this is Nkusi Malcolm.
Okay, that's good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Wow. Thank you for joining in, and we are really glad. I was still telling Shania about the units so far we have gone through, and do you have access to the website content, the platform?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So have you tried out to go through these art lessons?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah. So I was still telling Shania that we have so far done. This is the one we finished last week, which was
Okay.
the color.
Uh-huh.
And in details, we discussed everything about color. So
Okay.
it will be good if you extend it, you go through that content and try to see what can be got out and what you understand. In case you need more in details, you explain to
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Then we have also discussed these shading techniques.
Um,
They are very, very important at our level of studying arts.
yeah.
So also try to go through them, and it will be good for me to receive some of your artworks that you have done out of from aid of the shading techniques, and we shall discuss them more. Then more to
Okay.
that, wanted us to discuss this.
Yeah.
Uh, I think we can all see what is displayed here. And the course you can extend in the title. You can just read to us the title there.
I read it, huh?
Yes.
Alpha Senior 2, displaying depth in drawing.
Okay. Yeah. It is your other name, please.
Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
Okay. It is very important in our shading moments that we should display depth. The paper can be flat, but due to the effect we can create, due to the effect or the knowledge you have, we can create depth, and someone will think that it is a three-dimensional or it is a three-dimensional artwork. But yet in
Yeah.
reality, it is just a plain paper. As you can see in that drawing of steps going down, it is very good. Shania,
Yes.
uh, I want you to read out this paragraph, the first one.
Depth, the apparent distance from front to back or near to far in an artwork. Techniques of perspective are used to create the illusion of depth in paintings or drawings. Examples of these techniques are controlling variation between sizes and depicted subject, overlapping them and placing those that are on depicted ground as lower when nearer and higher when deeper.
Yes. And thank you for that. And basically today we are going to be going through the 9 simple techniques that can help you create depth in your drawing to make it look more dimensional. Do you have a clue on the word dimensional, three-dimensional?
Mm,
Yes, Shani. Okay, yeah, basically three-dimensional is very key. And the three-dimensional is the effect of creating an environment on a two-dimensional paper. For example, the paper here on this drawing is a two-dimensional, but we still have, we are seeing depth, we are seeing height, and we are seeing length. You get me? So that effect is really very important if we achieve it. Now, one of the things what will make us achieve depth in our artwork is overlapping. And in simple terms, what I mean with overlapping is the placement of objects. Okay, that one is in front of the other and some are behind the other. So when we create those a composition that has overlapping, it tends to come out very, very well, and we tend to see that there is depth in this artwork. The reason why I'm bringing you out to this because with the time ahead, even the assignment you're going to do, you will have to create a simple composition from home. Okay, you may just say, okay, I'm going to use objects from the kitchen. Oh, I'm going to just get a set of books or a simple composition. But these are some of the key things you should put to consideration and try them out. You can even try out these pictures that you are seeing. For example, this watermelon and a lemon plus a red pepper. It can be good when you do that. So overlapping is very, very key for us to achieve depth. It comes away from the composition first. And in reality, this at our level, when you're doing exams, the teacher will organize it for you. But when he organizes it for you, he just wants you to know that, okay, there is overlapping. And they do it for us to, they do it for us learners to achieve depth. It is very, very important. And basically, let me just say, uh, Kusi, can you read through the overlapping statement?
Okay. You can draw objects in such a way that they overlap one another to show that they exist on a different plane in space. By overlapping, you'll be able to tell which object is in front or behind.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it is very, very important. And just to continue with this example, continue.
In this example, the lonely square on the right is not overlapping or being overlapped. There is no way to tell whether it is in front or behind the other three squares.
Oh yeah, sorry, I use this, but basically you can see that these pies, the piers what? Are they?
Pairs.
Yeah. Yes.
Pairs.
Yes. Uh, they are not overlapped, and rarely will a teacher bring up this composition for you to draw, unless otherwise, based on what you're trying to do, maybe trying to show. You may try to be studying something, but more to it, when you talk about composition and creating depth, realize that objects overlap each other. For example, this leaf is ahead of those. These are these are like oranges, and some oranges are in front and some are behind. So when we create those different layers or planes, it gives us the three-dimensional, or it creates the depth in the drawings you make. And you can see with these small squares that all of them are compacted. And that's what is all about overlapping. More to it, when we overlap areas that are in front, the other, we tend to create some tones. I think you can see in this to show that this object is in front, the other one is behind. So it is very, very key for us to get to know that. Then the second point to this is perspective. Shania, can you please just read through us perspective?
Draw objects that are farther away, smaller than the objects closer to you. That's how perspective behaves in real life.
Yes, and besides reading this, do you have some knowledge about perspective?
Not really.
Okay, it is also a unit that we shall discuss on its own, but very, very important. Uh, yes, perspective, as you can see from that image on your screen, is that objects that are close to me are big, but as they reside very far from me, they become small. If you critically look at a car in a distance, it will be smaller than even you. Yet it may be a rolly or a big, big truck. But when it tends to come close to you, realize how big it is. So perspective is very key. And even when we are drawing, because we shall be introduced to landscape drawing, if we are to create depth, depth is more of distance. Okay. If we are to create distance in a drawing, we have to understand the concept of perspective, that things that are close to me become big, but as they reside very far from me, they get to be smaller and smaller. So it is very, very important for us to get to know that. And you can see in this drawing that one thing with perspective, we have a vanishing point. And basically, when I talk about the vanishing point, I mean the point where our lines are residing from. The last point where my eyes cannot go beyond. The vanishing point is where is at the line where the sky meets the ground. So we shall discuss more about it in the perspective lesson itself, but it is also very, very important for us to have it in mind. Then the next one is line thickness. And I would request the Malcolm. Malcolm to read through us this.
Use thicker lines to bring objects to the foreground. This technique has got to do with perspective as well. Lines look thick when they are close, will look thinner as they go further away. Show more than one side to the object. Show the sides of the object that you are drawing.
Okay, thank you. Oh, this you had gone through another one, but I want to let you know that perspective applies in each and everything. Okay, in simple terms, I said that the things that are close to us look bigger, but as they recede, they become smaller. And in that same term, we realize that lines that are close to us are thick, but as they reside very far from the viewer, they become smaller. Okay, the same thing will be colors that are close to us are bright, but as they go very far from me, they become dull and they fade away. I realize that shapes that are close to me are bigger, but as they go very far away, they become smaller. You get those four concepts. So perspective covers each and everything. Even the people that are around me are bigger, but as they reside very far from me, they become smaller. Trees, roads, each and everything around me, there is that concept of perspective. That anything that is very far from you cannot compete with something that is close to you in terms of size, in terms of the way it looks, in terms of how important it is. So it is very key for us to get to know that. And even the perspective should also be put in our daily life that uh, things that are very far from you, ideas, objects that are very far from you, don't concentrate. You may not have to see them more than those that are around you. You get me? You cannot understand the people whom you have not been with, yet there are some people you have and you have spent time with. So perspective also apply here. More to this, basically we had talked about this thickness in lines that if you realize that an object is very close, you can give it thick lines. And those objects are very far, you tend to give them thin lines. And so it is very important. Uh, Shani, I would request you to read to us the show more or one side of the object.
Show more than one side of the object. Show the sides of the object that you are drawing.
Okay. So this is very key. Again, the other way to achieve depth in a work of art, we basically don't have to show one side. I think you can see with this that we have the 3D instead of the 2D. So this is the 3D whereby we have length time with width and height, okay? So when you draw those three of them, those three sides, it gives us a three-dimensional or it creates depth. We tend to say, okay, it's not just a plain object, but it has body. I can carry it, I can remove it from where it is, and I can also see what may be behind. If I turn it, I will still be interested in looking what is behind the other side. But with a two-dimensional, for example, a plain paper, a drawing is a two-dimensional. When I turn the paper, I may not see something interesting. But as a human being, we are three-dimensional. When I tell you to turn around, I will still be seeing you. You get me? A blackboard is a two-dimension. But a chair is a three-dimension because it occupies space. So when you are drawing, one of the things that students tend to miss out is this, that they know that they are drawing a box, but because they may not have given it time, they end up drawing just a two-dimensional box. Okay, should understand that when they tell you to draw something that is before you, it has depth in it, and you can create it by giving us two-dimensional, three-dimensional sketches. So it is very important for us. Then the next thing here, I want to We have been joined in by someone else. I'm seeing Mugisha Robert, you're on the call. You're most welcome. If it's okay with you, can just extend in a greeting to us and we shall be continuing. Okay. Uh, Malcolm, can you
Yes.
read to us this text?
Okay. You can use shadow to give more information to the object you draw, especially the form of your object. A circle can turn into a sphere with shading, and when shading is added to the bottom of objects, it will appear that the object is laying on the same surface.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. This is very, 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 very important. Okay. Very, very key. I don't know how I should emphasize it, but I cannot express it beyond this, telling you that it is very important. Shading, adding shadows is key for us to see that it is a three-dimensional. Because on a two-dimensional, shadow cannot be achieved. You get me? If I'm drawing a paper, I may not have to see the three-dimensional part of it. But when we create objects, for example, a box or a sphere, and there is an effect of light, to be honest with you, we shall see some shadow happening. If you place your pencil right now on your desk, you realize that shadow comes, and the shadow comes because there is some effect of light, and it is the way we can see that there is a depth, or a work of art is a three-dimensional one. So it is very important that you put this into practice, and I would be requesting you guys to put in a lot of effort, okay, to achieve shadows. Okay, when you draw, you should realize that, okay, because there is effect of light, the direction of light is coming from, the light is coming from this side, and the shadow will appear this side. So when you do that, we shall really see, okay, there is depth in this work. So it is very, 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 very important for us to put into consideration. Uh, okay. Then also this is related to perspective. I would request Shania to read it to us.
The small square and the small
Oh,
square and
starting
square
from up
B
here. Starting from here.
from placement. The
Yes.
eye level line is the horizon line. Things placed closer to the horizon line are farther away. For example, the small square appears farther from square A because it is closer to the horizontal.
Yes. Continue.
The small square and square B are exactly the same distance away because their bottom line is the same distance away from the horizontal line. In this case, you can also tell that small square really is smaller than square B, whereas square A, even, even though drawn at the same size as square B, is bigger because it's closer to the foreground.
Okay. Yeah. So it is very, very key, and it basically takes me back to what I was explaining, that the objects are very far, they are small. Now, at the eye level, where we find the vanishing point, is that as the as objects come to the eye level or the vanishing point, they become small. And now, what we are here, he's trying to explain is that this object B, square B, is bigger than square A, but because it is a bit far from square A, is we tend to see that they are a bit equal. But in reality, when it is close, it's brought closer to be with square A, realize that it is very big. You get me? So that is part of it, and this shall be discussing it because of landscape drawing in nature. So that's why I'm introducing you this content for us to be prepared for our landscape drawing that we shall be having ahead of us. Then more to this, another way we can achieve depth in a work of art. and this is also very important in landscape drawing. I would request the Mugisha Robert, are you in position to say something to us?
Yes, Mr. Muhindo, this is Malcolm's father.
Oh,
Just attending class as well. So
okay. Thank you for your participation in this. Sorry about that. Yes,
I wasn't meant
basically,
to stand. I wasn't meant to. I was just still testing the gadgets being our first time. But otherwise,
okay.
I'm not supposed to be here. You excuse me.
Oh, I do understand. Thank you for that. Yes, okay, Malcolm, you can just read to us this because it's also very important for us.
Okay. Objects in the foreground have more contrast, either in terms of line weight, value, or color saturation. This is how atmospheric perspective will affect how you see things in real life. Objects farther away are blocked by dust particles in the air, hence their colors will be dialed down and contrast reduced. The farther the object, the less contrast there will be.
Exactly. Thank you so much. As you can see that, okay, it still brings back to perspective. I want to tell you that perspective is very, very important. Okay. So you see here with the trees that are close to us, they are really bright and darker. But as we see in through the trees towards the end point, realize that they fade away. And that is very, very key. So when you're trying to grow to achieve depth, you should not make all trees in and all objects that are close that are in your drawing to be bright and very strong in terms of tone. You should understand that, okay, as I go very far, I will start now making them light and lighter and lighter. So it is very, very important for us to have this in mind and get to see how we can do it in our drawing. And this will apply in landscape drawing. Okay, and more to this, when you draw, you can vary the line, weight, or values of your object. So it is very key that, okay, you have to vary lines. First of all, we have to vary tones. We have to vary size. We have to vary even texture. Not everything should be uniform throughout. We should understand where is the emphasis and what is very far, what is near. So it is very, very important for us to have this in mind. Shani, I would request you to read to us this.
Objects in the background have less detail than those closer. You can see closer objects are more detailed than further objects. Draw using the same way as seen in the above picture of trees.
Yes. Yeah, and it is very, very important. Objects that are close to you are more detailed than those that are very far from you. If you, wherever you are right now at home, if you really look at things that are very far, you cannot even get to see how they are in reality. But those that are close to you can see that house is detailed like this. This roofing was done in this technique. But those trees that all those objects that are very far from you, they can't be recognized very well. So when you are drawing anything and realize that, okay, this object is in front, it needs more details, it needs more time, it needs more attention. And those that are very far, they just need to be giving us, they should not take all the details. We should not put details in the object that are very far. So it is very, very key for us to know. And again, I want to emphasize this perspective is key, and we shall be discussing it in the lessons ahead. So when your eyes focuses on an object, especially something is in close distance, objects in the background will appear to be blurry out. You can use soft edges or trans transitions to mimic that effect. Uh, so basically, if you go through this content on the platform, I will request you to watch this video and you'll see some of the concepts I've been explaining. These two videos will give us really something good. And basically, that is it. In case you have something you have not understood, in case you have something you want to be clarified on, this can be a great opportunity for you to share and let me know where I need to emphasize in terms of explanation. Yes? Anything that you need clarification on? We talked about overlapping, we talked about perspective, we talked about thick lines, okay? And it's very important. We talked about show more than one side of the object. Don't draw an object directly, but you should see the front side, the side of it, and the behind side in case we may have to see it in terms of your position in drawing. More to this, we talked about the shadow. Creating a shadow on an object is very important, and we also talked about placement of objects in relation to horizon. It is key because this is also applied in perspective. And what I would like to let you know is that the perspective course is also there. So this is the 2 point with the point perspective that is with us, so that we have, and basically takes us through how we can achieve drawings and some of the key things to consider when we are trying to get more details on perspective. So it is very, very important, and it is also on the site. You just go through it. Now, since in case we have nothing more for us to talk about, and all we have understood, it is very important. And I'm going to leave out this. You see this drawing, this picture of watermelon and lemon fruit. Also, we have the red pepper. That's what you are going to draw. So just go through the content and download the picture, or just read from there and share it. Okay. But even more, if you have your own object that you are maybe interested in, as long as you arrange them very well related to what we have been discussing about overlapping, draw it. I'll be around and here for you to extend in my contribution and my marks for you. So that is it. And in case we have something to say, this is the time. Okay, Shania, what did you what captured your mind in what we discussed today?
I like this this part where we that line thickness and the 3D explanations. Also,
Okay,
how to use shadow to make a circle look like a sphere.
wow, that's good. Thank you. And Malcolm,
I was just saying that since I've missed a lot,
yes.
how can you help me catch up?
Yes, basically, to be honest, you have not missed a lot, okay? Because the content is on the website, and in case you
Oh,
go through any and you see you
uh-huh.
need more clarification, I'm here for you. Most of these units have some short videos that can give you an in-depth explanation on them. Yeah, so
Okay.
all this content we have been discussing is on the website, and also the YouTube channel where we make these lesson recordings is also there. So in case you have missed out some, just click
Uh,
on Yaaka and you will be seeing all those lessons there.
Okay.
But more to this, what has been of interest in this lesson?
Um, I think the line thickness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so whatever is of interest to you guys, I want you to apply it in your drawings. It will be good when I see that you liked this in the lesson and you have achieved it. It is very important. Uh, on that note, please remember this is the assignment I've given us. This image is what we are going to do. Just spend time, draw in case you have colored pencils, or we discussed the colored lesson last week. So you can also apply color. But more to it, I would love to see how good you can achieve it. And I believe you will do it. Thank you guys for being part of this lesson, and I'll be blessed extending this knowledge to you guys. And just don't hesitate to reach out on me in case you need more explanation and more guidance on what you've done, even though it
Yeah.
may not be in the time for our lesson.
Yeah.
Please utilize the website and this platform. Go through the content. It will be good for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too. I'm blessed.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, have a good day, guys.
Likewise.
Love you all. And this lesson has come to an end. You can feel free to leave. So we're having another lesson coming in.